Gulf Coast Auto Shield has moved to a...
All right.
Here we go. Hold on. I got to get the intro.
Gotta give us a little music here.
I'll give you a little music right here, my friend. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, ready.
It's going to be about 3 seconds.
All right. Celebrating 10 years of award-winning Car Talk. This is In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, your go-to, all things automotive place. Coming up, we've already done that stuff, the calendar and all that good stuff. We didn't do history, did we?
No,
No,
We're going to do history.
Auto history's coming
and
up.
we've got a fantastic guest coming up.
a fast guess.
Fantastic guest. Howdy, I'm Jeff Zekin. We've got Mike Mars on the end. We've got King Conrad DeLong.
You wanted more Jeff. Jeff is sitting in 2 seats
Call
right
me.
now.
I will push your buttons. That's what I'm going to do.
He can definitely push the
Mr.
button.
Armstrong is absent. He does have an excuse. He brought one in. I'm going to turn this off and go there.
Something must be happening in Houston because
slide it down so it fades.
Don was called off for helicopter duty,
Yeah.
so he's flying around the city somewhere doing something. We're not real sure what
We don't
yet.
even know. He could be on standby. You never know. But
So if you know what's happening in Houston, tell us on Facebook because
We're locked in.
We have no clue what we're doing.
we have kolaches and Suze. We should have brought Suze in as a guest.
Oh, yeah. Where's she
She's
at?
back behind me over
okay.
here. She's looking for the kolaches.
Oh.
Yep. Okay. And we got a guest.
Yes.
We do have a guest.
Talking about the race calendar and stuff, we have with us local guy done extremely well. You know, it's really nice to see somebody local that does really well like this.
Yep.
Mr. Alec Udell.
Yay.
Come out of the woodlands.
He's waving. He's not talking to us. He's going to use sign language. I can see this.
I've got him up.
We'll turn.
I don't think he said anything. Hey, Alec, how are you? Well,
Doing
apparently
great.
Oh,
we
he's
don't-
doing
we
that on
don't-
purpose.
No,
Is he
no,
up?
he's talking.
I don't think there is.
How about now?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
It was me.
Hey.
I was going to say, because I had him in my ear.
Sorry, Alec.
So, do I assume
That's okay.
do I assume you are headed to Atlanta?
Yes, I will be there. So I will be there working with Kelly Moss Road and Race with the Porsche Cup team. It's the finale for the season.
Okay.
They've got 3 races this coming week.
Perfect.
And you'll
Yeah.
so you'll be in the Porsche Cup car the whole time?
Yeah, so what I drove this year in the Mercedes and the
Right.
AMG and then in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. And so the 2 series, the Super Trofeo series finished up at Laguna Seca earlier in the year. And then the Mercedes AMG, the team that I'm driving with, is jumped up now into the GT3 series with 1 car. So I'll be there coaching, working with a few of the drivers on the team that I have done a lot of work with over the years. So I'll just be there. Unfortunately, not in the seat for the most of the weekend, just a little bit in the practice sessions, but
he
I'll
was
definitely be at the event.
Doing some of the
he
setup.
was name dropping the cars.
yeah.
I like that
well,
part.
he
You know,
should
he's
be.
got
That's
all
what
that.
he's supposed
Absolutely
to do.
love it.
Kelly Moss Racing.
Yep, you bet.
Yep.
And
exactly.
And so tell us more about what all you're going to be doing this weekend with
Sure. So a lot of what we do on the coaching side, whenever you go to the track, is helping with the setup, kind of talking the drivers through different turns, different techniques in the cars. So I focus a lot on breaking down the techniques to be very simplistic so that we can apply them. You know, when you're driving on the racetrack, there's a lot of information coming at you. And so we want to be able to pick those things apart and pick, 1 or 2 things that you can focus on that'll allow you to go faster. And so we'll have, sometimes there's time for a coach to get in the car and set like a reference lap. And that gives us something to compare to through the weekend. And then I'll be on the radio as well, kind of talking through different corners, helping spots, those types of things as well.
Are you guys allowed live telemetry on the car? Because I know when you talk about setting the first lap for the coach, you're actually coming back and I'm assuming downloading the data from the lap so you can see entry speed, braking point,
Right.
All of that, steering inputs and stuff. So you get an opportunity to not necessarily overlay the coach's lap to the driver's lap, but to a degree overlay that lap, trying to help that driver go deeper, turn earlier, turn later, and whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So in the Cup Series, the only series in IMSA really that is allowed live telemetry is the WeatherTech Championship, so kind of the endurance racing series. And they are specifically allowed it for, if they have a tire going down or oil pressure fail, that kind of thing.
Right.
In like the sprint races or in the GT4 series, those cars aren't allowed live telemetry. Okay. It's kind of a cost control measure because the live telemetry adds another, depending on the system.
Well, not just the system. It adds other personnel. Now you have to have not just the electronics on the car, the person to install it, the person to diagnose it, the person to read it, the person to display it. So now you've got 5 extra people just because.
But couldn't you make the case that it would be of a safety standard rather than just cost effective? Yes, there's a cost and everything, but more of a safety factor for the individual drivers and teams.
Yep, could be.
Yeah, and you can. A lot of the cars have like tire pressure monitoring systems in them now, and so the driver can page through the dash, and so then it becomes part of the driver's role to be able to understand what's going on with their individual car. And when you get higher into when the races aren't as long, you typically aren't going to have as many things that are going wrong. But when you've got 8, 10, 12, 24-hour races, that's when you really need those systems because you can, have issues that you can monitor through the race and figure out, okay, do I need to pit and make change something, or do we need to check something? But if you're not, like in the cup racing, they don't pit during the race. It's just full out sprint race. And so there's no real opportunity if you're going to have a failure of some sorts, you're out of the race basically, but it's not the same in the endurance series.
So when you're doing the endurance racing, can there be a point where, let's say, because if I remember correctly, where you were with the Mercedes, you guys actually had to sit in pit X amount of time, and that time varied if you were one driver or two driver. Was I paying attention?
So that was actually with the Lamborghini. That's correct.
Okay, I'm sorry, with the Lamborghini.
Yeah, no, that's okay. And so that series, because it's kind of it's a 2-driver series format, and so it can be a 2-driver format, I guess is a better way to describe it. And so the theory for why there's a difference, if you have one driver, you stay in the pit lane for 3 seconds longer. And the theory is because the driver that's in the car knows the exact conditions of the track, knows exactly what they're getting themselves back into, and is primed and ready to go. The driver getting in may not be ready as much as the driver that's in the car already. And so they establish at about 3 seconds is the good kind of range as to what they need to hinder the single driver cars to make it equal and give that other driver an opportunity to get up to speed with the track and exactly where it's at.
So when you're in there for that, whichever level of time you have to spend, is there an opportunity to, I'm not saying that you do, but is there an opportunity to take a quick download of the data in the car so it can be reviewed in the pit box so you can look at the analysis of the ride versus just the driver's seat of the pants?
That's totally. And there is, I would say that there is time, but I don't think it's allowed within the rules, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when it comes to the application as well, especially like a lot of the drivers that I work with are some of the drivers are aspiring young professionals, and then other drivers are gentleman drivers. And so giving too many things to focus on in a session as well can be detrimental because then you don't get anything done. And so that's why we take and we download the data afterwards and really do a pretty heavy analysis as to, hey, here are all the things, but then we come up with those 1 or 2 points that are like, these are the most crucial elements right now that we need to get better. And then we can move on to something else.
If you do this is your greatest ability to change time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
What a coach, huh? Yeah. Wouldn't you love to have a coach like that?
But I understand
you also do some other subject. I know that you do some online coaching as well through a website that you provide yourself. Is that correct?
Yes. And so Kelly Moss, the team that runs the Cup Series and the team that ran the Lamborghini that I drove in this year, we have teamed up to build out a kind of a live driver membership where people can come in. We do training sessions 3 times a month. So we have a theoretical approach with a bit of like a training and a presentation. And then we have a practical application. So this month we're talking about passing and defending. And so our first one was talking, theory of setting up a pass, theory of defending. And then we have a break. Next week we'll talk, not this coming week, but the following week, we'll talk about, okay, here are some passes from in-car videos that we've got from the team. what is good, what went wrong, how can we learn from these things? And then the third session is a Q&A. So it gives people a little bit more access to people like myself or someone that they may not necessarily get to. We've got a ton of knowledge with the racing teams, especially the professional teams, that a lot of times just gets kind of thrown away each year because we're focusing on, the next year.
You should have run this session a couple of weeks earlier. Maybe the guys in NASCAR last week.
I was going to say, rubbing his racing.
I think a few things kind of the passing and, and being passed kind of blew up. So what's the website? Somebody, if they wanted to become a member, how can they do that?
Yeah, definitely. You can go to onlineracingcourses.com.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Got it.
And what do you have in store? Do you have any ideas what's going on next year?
Yeah, what do you got in your back pocket there?
Yeah, what I've got in the back pocket. So I'm working towards, I think, another year possibly in the Lamborghini. That's kind of, I think, what's coming up. What I tend to like to do is, yeah, I know it's challenging, right? We're just working out the details. Obviously, they haven't been quite finalized yet, but that's what I'm working towards. I would like to be back. In
We're losing you.
Yep,
we lost you.
You're kind of chopped up on us. We're going to drop you off. Do us a favor. Give us a call right back, and let's see if we can
enjoy the GT3 racing, which is kind of the next step up, and that's what I'm working towards. But at the moment, GT4 race is exciting because there's not too much like aero wash that you get, in the wake of another car. You don't lose the front end too bad because the cars aren't super dependent on force through the turns. So it makes the race.
Yeah, Alec, we're losing you. We got there's some audio issues going on. We're going to
we lost. Oh, nope, there he is.
Okay, now he's back. So let's see if you can get him back.
Well, he's back, but he's muted. You got to unmute, dude.
No, he's not muted.
Well, he was on his end.
Either way.
Okay.
All good now.
There we go.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
You moved or something. We're not sure what.
It's Don. Don flew his helicopter over your house.
Yeah, Don was causing interference.
If you were watching, I think you heard that Don was called off to helicopter duty with Channel 13. And from what I understand, they are flying over Energy Park right now looking at.
Are you getting the info from
Thanks, George. I appreciate
George,
that.
appreciate it.
So.
I think there's a big festival there over the weekend.
Yeah, there was.
Anytime Don's around, it's a festival. You know that.
Yeah.
Whether it's intentional or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So are you still got your big training set up there at home?
Yes. Yeah. So I just actually on Thursday this week, I'm not sure if this is what you're referring to, but on Thursday this week, I had a driver academy event, an in-person one. We had people bring their street cars down. So we had a bunch of Porsches, BMWs, Lamborghini, Ferrari, a few exotic cars down at the racetrack south of Houston in Angleton to kind of get people more comfortable with the car. So I'm doing all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
In addition to the driving
and the bench racing too.
Oh yeah. 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 I do the sim racing as well. All kinds of things. I got the setup at home. I'm in California right now this weekend, just visiting a friend, but nice to have the time to be able to jump on the call with y'all this morning.
Oh, and we appreciate it.
And that's why you had to take the later call because it's 8:45 there.
Thinking that. What part of California? Huntington Beach, Laguna, what?
Where are you at?
Yeah, yep, exactly. We're in Irvine.
Well, see, go down to Huntington Beach.
And get one of those
CDJR and check out those Dodge Demons. They got some brand new Dodge Demons.
Open MSO Demons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
2018 models. You can pick one up
for a smooth $250,000.
Yeah, smooth. Well, I'll stick with my GTI.
Well, at least try and get a test drive. Get a test drive in it and let us know how that works out.
Just send a picture.
Exactly.
Well, Alec, we really appreciate you joining us. It's so much fun watching your career. I follow you. I follow you on Facebook. Yep. I also try and follow your race team on Facebook as well to see what you guys are doing. And we wish you lots of luck next year. And
thank you.
If any of our viewers are interested and they want to bring a sponsorship package for Alec, you can get a hold of us at InWheelTime at info@inwheeltime.com,
That's right.
and we'll pass it on, and you can have your name emboldened on the side of his race car.
There you go. As long as it's a Cadillac.
No. Thanks, Alec.
Oh, that sounds great.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it,
guys.
brother.
Take care.
Thanks, man.
You know, you think about,
fun.
you know, for such a young man coming out of the woodlands and being so successful. You got to remember, he was a Porsche Cup champion in Europe,
Right.
where they live Porsche. And he has raced, in my opinion, at some of the higher levels here in
not only
in
that,
the
you've got
States.
he's got the skill level of the driver. He's got the skill level of like a team manager, a mentor, coach, and you know, he's a young, intelligent man.
Well, to me, that's a big part of it. Is the fact that he knows stuff and he can teach somebody else. He can share
and
that.
knows how to teach as
Right.
well.
That's
Right,
it.
right.
I think the only bad decision he makes is coming on with us every now and then.
Well, and in that case, I got to say this: that we'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Just like Conrad stated, you can get a hold of us individually if you'd like. Mike at info, Conrad at info, and of course Jeff at info. You don't need to email Don. He doesn't need to know anything.
Info@inwheeltime.com.
for any of us.
It comes to all of us. Just
Right.
send it to info.
Send it, but don't send it to Don. So, and I had to get that in there. So we're coming up on pretty much the close of the day.
Well, we still got to do auto history.
I know, but I'm going to do this too. That's what I want to say. I've got some things here, and we're going to extend it like 2 more hours. You guys want to go 2 more hours?
Two
Can we
more
do that?
hours?
Well, Don's flying, yes.
Yeah, we can do it.
So I did want to say this in automotive news. If I could do that, Mike, we got time for that or no?
Go.
Okay.
Just start.
Tesla Inc. from Washington, D.C., this just in, is recalling nearly 12,000 U.S. vehicles sold since 2017 because of a communication error may cause a false forward collision warning or unexpected activation of the automatic emergency braking
Oh, so
system.
there's a wife sitting next
The
to you.
National Highway Traffic Safety. Well, let me read that again, and you can say that. Emergency braking system. Yeah, there you go. But this was something very similar to what Kelly was having to say earlier with the autonomous and stuff. California automakers said the recall of 11,704 Model S, X, and 3, along with the Ys, have prompted a software update from October 23rd to vehicles in its limited early access full service driving, or the FSD. It's a beta thing, I guess. So that's part of that. Let's see if there's any more of that story. Moving on. Tesla said that October 29th, more than 99.8% of the vehicles, all but for 17, had installed an update. No further action is necessary. So disregard.
Yeah, we had a recall, but we're not
Never
going
mind.
to.
Yeah.
While the microchip shortage is still expected to last into next year, retailers are anxiously waiting for proof from automakers that the worst of the crisis is over. Some of the largest dealership groups in the country dropped last month to a scant 20-something new vehicles on average per dealership at each of the franchise stores, compared with hundreds per lot they normally have. And
Right.
Mike, you stated that earlier in the show, maybe might have been off air, that you've got some folks around your area that 1 or 2.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's 2 dealerships, and you may have seen them if you've come down my part of the town. One of them is a Chevrolet dealership, and all his used or pre-owned and everything is
front.
all now over on his new.
Okay.
And he's
And
shut down
spread out.
half of his new. He's emptied it because he can't
He's
spread
not
out
getting-
that far.
He's not getting inventory. And they are so dependent on the revenue now that they're generating from used cars, because there just isn't enough new cars to do it, and as well as their service departments.
Still
And
gotta pay
service
the bills.
departments are so important to the function of a dealership.
Yep, absolutely.
We ought to go ahead and do auto history, Jeff.
Let's do it.
So you got the video.
Oh, I'm getting there.
So in 1895,
What?
the first auto club in the United States was formed, called the American Motor League. In Chicago, they had their meeting, and it was Charles Edgar Duryea, one of the original vehicles ever manufactured. He was one of the vice presidents of it, and that's Charles there.
Charles.
Now, one of my favorite people in 1897, Ransom Eli Oldsmobile. Doesn't he look kind of nerdy?
He does with the glass.
Sort of looks like you.
He received the first patent. I need to get round ones. He received the patent for a motor carriage, where a power motivator moved a 4-wheeled vehicle. So he had the original patent for a motor carriage. In 1927, Ford ended production of the Model T and started production of the Model A.
That's cool.
Vastly improved, had an elegant Lincoln-like style on a smaller scale. It had a 200 cubic inch four-cylinder engine that only produced 40 horsepower, but prices starting at $460 when they were new.
Wow. You know what? My suggestion, I always say this, LS and tub it out.
And I'm sure lots of people will. They actually made over 5,000 Model A's through the years that they were building it up through 1932.
Perfect.
In 1939, the 40th National Automobile Show opened in Chicago, Illinois, with cutting-edge development brought by Packard Automobile. Now, remember, this is 1939, so this is pre-World War II. Yeah, there should be a Packard.
There it is, right there.
There it is.
And
Yeah.
Packard introduced air conditioning in the 1939. Air conditioning, and this is that car that was at the show. So
That the actual car?
That is the actual car.
I'll be darned. I like his shirt.
You know, you think about how early that was for air conditioning to be in an automobile, and it's pretty interesting that they did it. In 1950,
We should have Officer
in 1951,
Sergeant
hopefully,
Woodard run that plate.
Hopefully, this is the right picture. In 1951, Zebra. Well, let's go to the next picture.
All right. Moving on.
We should have.
I like Johnny.
Well, where's the? There we go. In 1951, zebra crossing stripes were introduced in England to reduce the casualties for pedestrians at road crossing. I just thought that was the most famous
I
zebra
know where you're
stripe.
going.
Yeah,
You're going with that.
You know, remember Paul's barefoot.
Yeah, that's right.
And then in 1960, country and rocky. You can go back one now.
Oh, gee whiz.
Country and rockabilly
Hold on.
star
There you
Johnny Horton lost his life.
And I'm the one pushing buttons,
in
right?
a drunk driver accident on Highway 79 in Milano, Texas, while he was leaving the Skyline Club in Austin. He was driving a Cadillac, a 1960 Cadillac.
Oh, my.
In 1978,
Hold on. We got to move some pictures up for you, don't we?
Yeah, go one more.
Chrysler hired Lee Iacocca as he was leaving Ford, and Lee Iacocca introduced the K car. He got the loan from the federal government and basically saved Chrysler, who has since gone through Cerebus, Daimler, FCA, Stellantis.
But
so
to his credit, they paid him back. They paid the government. They paid us back.
Yep.
What about GM? Doesn't GM still have an outstanding note, Conrad?
Call them. Mary Barra. Call her. Her number is we don't care.
Anymore.
In 1989, Carmen Fasanella, a taxi cab driver from Princeton, New Jersey. Can you imagine getting in a car with this guy?
Uber driver.
He retired after driving a taxi for 68 years.
Nonstop.
No, not stop. But he was a taxi driver in Princeton, New Jersey for 68 years. Oh, my gosh.
His resume has one thing on it.
One line.
But he must have been very good at it.
Yeah.
He had a lot of practice.
With that face, oh, my goodness. Can
And
you
that
imagine?
is This Week in Auto History.
Okay. You tell me when, Mike, because I got this going on. We can extend it 2 more hours, Don, won't Mike?
I think we should. You know, particularly if we got some more news headlines.
Yeah, there's a little bit of news.
Auto
here.
news.
Yeah, I just covered something up. Penske CEO Roger Penske said he expects the this is part of a different article. The chip shortage. At least 12 months more. Penske dropped a 12-day supply of new vehicles in the U.S. in the end of September. For some brands, inventory was even tighter. So they're still talking about that. Now, there's a Sonic president, Mr. Jeff Dyke. I worked for Jeff Dyke. Jeff Dyke hired me long time ago with AutoNation when he was first coming in there and I was first coming in there. So it's good to see his name in headlines.
And now you're working with us.
I know. Gee whiz.
Moving up in the
And
world.
he's
wishing
the
he
president.
was working with us.
Oh, can I do one more thing before
Now, while
we go?
the 2020 Hummer EV pickup truck is not going to come with a spare tire, it's going to come with Inflate-A-Flat,
Oh,
an
good.
inflator kit, which I personally don't know that's a good idea. But when you look at the size of the tires on that Hummer, where are you going to put that 200-pound behemoth?
Right, how would you get it out?
Why
from
would you have
wherever
your
it
mother-in-law riding with you anyways? I mean, come on. Okay, I've got this right here. I picked this up last night at dinner before we closed. It said Cadillac, and that's what prompted me to
Cadillac
take it off
Margarita?
the Cadillac Margarita. Established in 1993, the Caddy is the first of the most popular margarita made with Souza Blue 100% blue agave tequila. Available unfrozen and on the rocks. Salt or no salt. Stop in and have one. Okay. Are we ready, Mike?
The Spring Hill Assembly Plant has paused production October 4th through December 6th as they prepare to launch the 2023 Cadillac Lyric crossover. They're investing roughly $2 billion in the assembly plant to get it ready for the Cadillac Lyric production.
I like that.
That Lyric is the electric one, right?
Yeah.
No, all EV, pure EV.
Yeah. And you know what? It's a shame they couldn't put a gas motor. I would buy the heck out of that.
So, in Mars's honor, we're going to put those last two stories together. We're going to have a Cadillac Margarita Lyric in Margaritaville. Get Jimmy Buffett.
We will be playing some Jimmy Buffett tonight at the Huli Huli Hut, 7 to 10. We'll be there.
Of course, at the Huli Huli Hut. What else?
And if you want to come, Jeff will be signing autographs, as will Sergeant
Woodard.
Sergeant Woodard will be there. He said he'll be in street
but he's
clothes.
going to be
Texas
in street
DPS.
clothes. So he's just going to be Mr. Woodard.
Just hanging out. There's a dance floor. Come on out. Shake your booty.
You like that tie back to
do a little
Yeah.
belly
nice
rubbing.
Shot. Nice shot.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Jeff.
All right, we got a couple of more little things we need to do.
We need to close the show.
You ready?
You're up.
All right, let's do this. So here we go, and I got to put the laptop. I know that there's just Zoom.
I think we got some sound going on
Yeah,
behind
we got
you.
There we go. Okay, that is a wrap, according to Don,
Thank God.
for another episode of In Wheel Time Car Show. Let me turn this down a little bit. When you're on Facebook page, please give us a like. Tell all your friends about us. Share our junk. Commercials to run. Hold on, we have a button here. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn Hunting feature. All the things automotive. There'll be some fun stuff, too, along with upcoming events all week. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show streams live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and on InWheelTime.com every Saturday from 8 to 11. We're extending it another 9 hours. 30-minute podcasts are available on your favorite podcast outlets 7 days a week. Special thanks to all of our guests today, which we did have some. They're wonderful. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing Director, Video Technical Director, he needs a raise, Jeffrey Zekin, which is me. For Booking Agent, Podcast Programmer, Mike Out of This World Mars, and his royalty king, Conrad DeLong. Don Armstrong is not here. He's absent with an excuse. Today's show is produced by New Bomb Turk. That was his thing from the show.
Right.
Okay,
right.
yeah. Please join us again next week for another fun time. Car Talk Show in Wheel Time. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Talk to you later.